नेपालीहरूको भाषा, संस्कृति, विचार, सभ्यता अलग भएर जान्छ जसरी अहिले नेपालमा हुँदै गएको छ। त्यसकारण त्यतिखेर हामी नेपाली बोल्नेहरू धेरै छौँ, हामी बहुसङ्ख्यक भयौँ र अङ्ग्रेजी बोल्ने थोरै छ, उहाँहरू अल्पसङ्ख्यक भयो। उहाँहरूको सम्मानको लागि म थोरै अङ्ग्रेजीमा राख्न चाहन्छु, हुन्छ होइन त? We do not understand Nepali, our language here, and switching over to English, not because that I can speak better English, but it is out of my honor, out of my respect to you, including Dr. Shara and others. I'm very pleased to know that the world is observing, the world teaches Day. I didn't know it. It was my ignorance. But since childhood, I have a great respect, a profound respect to teachers. That's why I could not resist to come to join this program, not because that I was going to be honored, which, if I wish, would like to avoid. Where should I begin? Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about why the teachers are great. Look, in the history of last over 2,500 years, the world has seen a great revolutions, many nations coming, rising, and then disappearing. How many of you remember the names of the emperors or the kings or the ministers or the politicians? Hardly 10 or 20, yes, in the history of last 2,500 years. But if I get the name of a person, a teacher, you would say, I know him, or I have read about him. Let me start from Socrates. Socrates, we call. He was a teacher. In the last 2,500 since Socrates came into this land, remember how many kings have ruled kingdoms and states and countries. Do you remember them? No. And you all remember Socrates' student, Plato. He was also a teacher. And also remember Aristotle. He was also a teacher. That's in the Western world. What about in our world? Who is the current incumbent president of China, Xi Jinping? Do you know? He often mentioned his teacher, that is Confucius, Lao Tzu. They were all great teachers. In the history of China for the last 2,500, they have seen so many emperors. Do you remember them? You don't care, but you care Confucius. Xi Jinping cares Confucius. Mao Zedong cared Confucius. Same with Lao Tzu, the another great teacher and philosopher. And what about this South Asian continent? Everybody knows Gautam Buddha. He was not a saint actually. You call him Buddha, but he was a teacher. He taught hundreds of thousands of millions of students. He was a great teacher. So how many emperors have ruled these nations here after Gautama Buddha? Do you remember them? Hardly few of them. Do you think they will be remembered for a long, long time to come? Never. Similarly, there are many other teachers like Charvak, another great teacher. So what I mean to say is, teachers are always honored, respected, and remembered. So it is the knowledge that prevails, that helps the civilization grow and develop. Thanks to the teachers. Now, this is what I mentioned about the great teachers of the ancient time. Now, what about the modern time? There was a president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, the late president of India, the president of Republic of India. He was a scientist, also known as Missile Man. A great personality. But do you know what was his wish to become? He told his own personal secretary that time before he died. Actually, it was an answer to your question. President Kalam was asked, someone asked him, Mr. President, past president, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered by the India or by other countries or other people? This was the question asked to President Kalam. He said, I want to be remembered as a teacher. कलामले भन्नुभयो म मात्र एउटा शिक्षकको रूपमा सम्झिन चाहन्छु कस्तो भयो And then you must have heard this guy, the first person to put his feet on lunar moon. The first person who landed to Luna, that's moon, Neil Armstrong. Everybody knows him as a great astronaut, a great cosmonaut, a space scientist, whatever. But you know, after he came back from moon, he hardly remained with NASA, the most coveted job in the world today for the scientists and technologists. He quit it. He didn't remain there even for 2 years. Where did he go? He went to teach. He went to become a teacher at Cincinnati University. Why? Don't ask me. Ask Neil Armstrong. So that's another story of Neil Armstrong, a great person. And finally, I would like to talk about a teacher of people. Well, Neil Armstrong went to become a teacher in Cincinnati University, and also like this guy, like Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle, Confucius. They all had their schools, university. But there was one guy who didn't have such school, but he was a great teacher of the students, the people. I'm afraid if you have heard about him. His name is Jimmy Yan. J-I-A-Y, Jimmy Yan. Born in China and graduated from Yale in the United States. More than 100 years. Exactly 100 years, I should say. He was born in Sichuan in China and went to Yale University to do his graduation. And after graduation, immediately after graduation, Jimmy Yan went to France. Why France? Yes, to become a teacher. Teacher of whom? You might be thinking, maybe he went to become a teacher at Paris University or Louis Pasteur. No, sorry. He went to become a teacher of the laborers, Chinese laborers. It was during the time of First World War I. Tens of thousands of Chinese laborers would go there, like Nepalese going to Malaysia, Middle East, Gulf countries these days. The reason? Yes, the reason was to dig the trenches, because it was war time. So these Chinese laborers, they used to go to France and dig trenches in the war field. Imagine. Like my brothers, my sisters are going to Gulf countries today under the heat of 50 degrees Celsius. So this Jimmy Yan, he went there to help these people, to help the Chinese laborers. Why? Because the Chinese laborers were illiterate. They didn't know how to write and how to read. So Jimmy Yan's job was to write letters for those laborers and read newspapers for them and write and read letters from their family. I used to do that when I was young. I was grown up in a remote village in Nepal. At that time, they used to get, the villagers used to get letters from their sons who were in the army, British Army or Indian Army, and they were all illiterate, so I used to read them letters and write them letters. So I remember my childhood as well. So Jimmy Yan went to become a teacher of these Chinese laborers. But it was a hell of a job. Why hell of a job? There were thousands of Chinese laborers. How many letters you can write a day? At least 10 minutes for one letter. Don't you think so? So a day he could hardly write 50 or 60 letters. He could read out hardly 50 to 60 letters. So it was impossible. And then he discovered a method. Someone was talking about pedagogy, right? So it was a pedagogy, like Paulo Freire said, pedagogy of office. So this guy, Jimmy Yan, discovered the pedagogy of the oppressed. What he did? He selected some smart Chinese laborers. And then he selected some 100 characters. In Chinese language, you do not have alphabet, you have characters. Like for a human, you like this, like a human standing. So he selected smart Chinese laborers, and then he selected some 1,000 basic characters of Chinese language. And then he started teaching those smart laborers. So in the first go, you might have taught, let's say 20. So these 20 smart laborers, Chinese laborers who were illiterate, they learn very soon, very fast. If you can teach an elephant, if you can train a dog, why not a human being? That was his, thinking. So he started teaching some smart Chinese laborers. It worked like magic. From 20, again another 20 like 20. Just multiply. So it was a huge success in education, teaching the illiterate. That's how Jimmy Yan became a teacher of the laborers, teachers of the common people, without a school building or without a university. Then, after the war, he went back to China and he started campaign. And this campaign was a nationwide campaign. It was a volunteerism. And this campaign was joined mostly by the teachers. Imagine, quite interesting. And one of the teachers was Mao Zedong, who joined Jimmy Yan's campaign of volunteer teachers. That's how the Chinese Communist Party began its revolution. Interestingly, Jimmy Yan was very close to Chiang Kai-shek. Jimmy Yan was close to Chiang Kai-shek, the president of Kuomintang political party. But Chiang Kai-shek did not like to hear Jimmy Yan. In contrary, Mao Zedong, who went to become a teacher volunteer in his campaign, listened to him. That's how the Chinese Communist Party got a mantra to reach to the people. To reach to the people, motivate them, mobilize them, and get success in the October Revolution. And this guy named Jimmy Yan, he had this campaign in Philippines, in Colombia, maybe also in Peru, several other countries. This is how a teacher of the people established an example. So this is all I wanted to recall and share with you, simply because this is the day we remember our teachers with respect and honor. Now coming to my own life.